Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be doing a rear brake job on this 2008 Toyota Sienna minivan. I'm going to be doing the rear brake pads. Front pads were just done a few months ago, so they're still good, but the rear pads need to be done. And it's going to be a pretty simple installation, pretty simple job to do. And there's not too much involved and not too many tools. It's a job that almost anybody with a set of tools and a little bit of common sense and knowledge can do. So we're gonna get this thing jacked up and get started. Okay guys, so the tools you're gonna need for this job are pretty basic, pretty simple. You're gonna need your brake pads, you're gonna need a floor jack, you're gonna need some sockets, you're gonna need a ratchet, you'll probably need a flathead screwdriver of some kind. You'll need a breaker bar with a lug wrench or a lug socket. You can also use an impact gun and a compressor. And you'll need a C-clamp or brake caliper compressor. Okay, I'm going to talk about the pads for a second here. These are Wagner Thermo Quiet brake pads. They're pretty much the top of the line OEM spec pad you can get for this minivan. Now these are semi-metallic pads. The reason I chose semi-metallic over ceramic is because here in Alberta, it's winter time right now, we got ice and snow. They provide a little bit better cold weather stopping power than ceramic pads do. They're also a little bit quieter, but they do heat up a little more. That's the one disadvantage over ceramic pads. Okay, we're going to start by jacking up the vehicle. Now I got my floor jack right here. As you can see right here under the vehicle subframe, there's an indentation. That is where your jack location is. If you're not sure where your jack location is, look in your owner's manual of your vehicle and it'll tell you. On this Toyota Sienna, it's just a few inches back from the rear tire. So we're just going to place a jack under it and jack her up. Okay, once we got the rear end jacked up, we're gonna take this steely wheel cover off. That's what we're gonna use this flathead screwdriver for. If you just pry on the outer lip of it, you gotta be careful not to snap it or break it or anything. But if you just pry in there and twist a little bit, it should come right off. Now we have access to all the lug nuts. So we're going to go ahead and pull them off. Now, if you just grab your socket and breaker bar, try and take them off, your tire is just going to spin. So if you go inside and apply the e-brake, it'll stop them from spinning. Okay, now that you got the e-brake on, you can go ahead and take the lugs off. Now, if you just got a tire iron or a breaker bar with a impact socket, you can go ahead and use that. But if you have an impact gun and an air compressor, this is a much easier way to do it. And just like that, the tire's free. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is remove the two caliper bolts. We got one right here and one at the bottom. Okay, so in order to break the caliper bolts loose, I'm going to be using a 14 mil socket on a ratchet. Now, every vehicle may vary for the size of socket you need, but on this 08 Toyota Sienna, you need a 14 mil. Just give it a little tap, like that, and they should come loose. Just like so. That's one. Make sure you set them in a place where you won't lose them. Then you go to the bottom one. Give it a little tap, like that. And it should come out just like that. Now you can pull the caliper off. And just, I like to inspect the, I don't know what you call this, the reservoir, the pressure part, just to clean it off and inspect it, make sure there's no cracks or anything in it. And then just set it aside up here, away. Now you got access to your pads. Okay, now the pads, they just very simply pull off if you get your finger in there, and just wiggle them loose. There's one, and the back one as well. And your new pads will come with new brake clips, and so you can just use a little flathead screwdriver and pop them off as well. They're sometimes stuck on and a little tricky to get off, but they do just pop off like that. Same with the bottom one. Just like that. Okay, now installing pads is just as simple as taking them off. You have to look and make sure that the curved part of the pad goes along with the curved part of the rotor. And all they do is they just slip right in, just like that. The back one is a little bit trickier to get in because you can't see as well, but same thing, you just line it and push it in. Once they're in, you just give them a nice squeeze, make sure they're on there securely and there's no gaps or anything like that. You're good to go. Okay, now that you have your pads installed, you got to put your caliper back on. But in order to do that, you got to compress this little piston piece here in order to make it fit on. So this is where the C-clamp comes in. And all you're going to do is take your C-clamp, put it on the edge of this piston and on the back of it, like so, and just tighten it up. And it should compress that piston right back in very easily. Now on these vans and cars, it'll be pretty easy to do. On larger trucks, they'll have actually two pistons, and in that case it'll be a little harder to do. But as you can see, it's now flush. And then you can just slide it on and align the bolt holes. Make sure your pads stay on, like that. And it just slides right on, just like that. And get your two bolts, put them back in. Sometimes it takes a little bit of wiggling and aligning. Get the first one started, and then go down and do the second one. Just like that. Then take your ratchet and socket, tighten them up. Okay, just like that. Once you get them tightened up, just snug them up one more time. You don't want to over tighten them, that's for sure. But you don't want them too loose either. Just snug them nicely, and you are good to go. Okay, once you get everything back together properly, go ahead and bring your wheel over and your tire. Go ahead, lift it up, get the lugs where the studs aligned, like that. Go ahead and start your lugs. Grab your impact gun. Slowly start tightening them down. You always want to go in a cross pattern to tighten them down. Okay, once you got all your lugs tightened down, you can go ahead, throw your wheel cover on, align it up properly, which is almost the trickiest part, and just go ahead and pop it on, just like that. Okay, now that we got the cover on, we can go ahead and lower the jack down and lower the vehicle. Try and do it slow and nicely and not jerky all at once. As you're setting it down, listen for any snapping sounds or creaking sounds that indicate a lug nut was not put on properly or a bolt was not tightened properly. In this case, everything sounded fine and we're good to go. Okay guys, we're now finished the one side of the vehicle. Now go ahead and you can do the exact same thing on the other side of the vehicle. It's the exact same process. Do everything the same. Okay guys, now that you're done both sides of the vehicle, get in the vehicle, release the e-brake, and what the number one important thing you got to do is pump your brakes. This will build pressure back up inside of them, because if you don't, you're going to start driving and you'll have no brake pressure and you'll have no brakes. Okay guys, that's it for this video. It's as simple as that to install rear brake pads on any vehicle. This was, like I said, 2008 Toyota Sienna, but it's the same on pretty much all vehicles that have rotors and pads. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys found it useful. Please stay tuned for my next video.